Hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It's in the evening right now. It's almost 7:30, and I have to make a video before I go to bed. So I made a video that last couple weeks. The snow dried out, as you can see my videos when I'm driving. There was no snow. The sun was great. The outdoor was great. It was sunny, but today I woke up in the morning. I went to church. When I came back, it was extremely cold, like really cold. So outside the temperature is like 30 degrees, which is like almost 1 degree Celsius. And it's going to be snowing in the coming few hours, about 7 o'clock or so, like 8 o'clock. Right? So making this video, and I was home the whole day. I did some work, some stuff, get some break. No time to sleep, no time to rest, of course, because I have to do something. Even though it's Sunday, it feels like Monday. But I'm just gonna show outside how it looks like. So this is how it is. As you can see, the snow is dropping. From a distance, you can see how it's dropping, right? So it's not that many. It's just a small. I don't know if I can open my window here. Oh, I think I can. So it's very cold. It's very freezing. You can barely go out, and it's windy. All right. So, anyways, I hope it won't snow too much. I hope it's gonna be this way the whole night. In the meantime, I'm gonna make a video here. Actually, I'm not gonna make a video. I'm just gonna speak while I'm filming outside. So I hope you can enjoy the snow as I speak in the background. All right. So today I was doing a case study. The case study is called North and South Trade. So the North and South, it means the North is the United States and Canada, and then South is Mexico and China. And the case study talks about income inequality, and I feel so bad when I say these things. Actually, I look better in the camera. Pretty cool, because there's no visibility right now, it's dark. But the case study looks at one of the it does look at the countries, two countries, the North and the South, and Mexico, United States, and China. In 1970s, since 1970s to 1980s, the income inequality has risen up dramatically. And according to this case study, to this research and case study, it shows that the income has risen because of the education. Educated workforce has the income as high as 40% compared to the people with no degree, college degree. So this was something that was observed from 1980s until 2016. However, a new country emerged, China and Mexico. This country has been blamed for taking away jobs for this low-skilled labor. So the argument is that the reason why the income inequality is so high in the United States is not necessarily because of the education gap, it's because of the manufacturing that used to hire those high school workers, high school graduates who did not have a bachelor's degree, who eventually moved to who found themselves unemployed once factories moved overseas. I give a perfect example, like West Virginia. It was hit pretty badly in the United States, but Midwest is also hit pretty badly, and states like South Carolina in the South, these areas has been also hit pretty badly. On the other hand, this case study also looks at the other factors. For instance, United States has, even though this low skilled labor has lost their jobs, become unemployed, almost all of them live on food stamps. They do have, they don't have jobs, so access to jobs. The case study has also found out that the United States, the snow is getting bigger and bigger. Interesting. It has found that United States, it has increased the amount of educated workers, and that has also came hand in hand with more advanced products like airplanes and technology, advanced research. All of this is a competitive advantage that countries like the United States has over nations like Mexico and China. Meanwhile, China has been trapped into this idea of low-skilled labor, so they found themselves manufacturing easy products like shoes, clothes, electronics, assembling, right? And this became a complementary, where the United States buys from China for cheap products like clothes, shoes, phones, electronics, cameras. Meanwhile, China and Mexico and many other countries buy from the United States for advanced equipments like machines for agriculture, weapons, very sophisticated weapons, very advanced, airplanes and engines, right? So that has been a complementary, where United States benefits from buying in cheap labor, while cheap labor buys from the from the advanced labor. So in terms of trade, United States benefits more. In terms of employment, however, United States lose, all right? And there is also a problem of labor transfers or skill transfers, where people, for instance, who grew up in West Virginia or Mississippi or Alabama, they found it really hard to migrate to Silicon Valley and then deal with the cancel culture, the hustle and the bustle, right? Paying $6,000 for an apartment that doesn't look even great, right? Congestions. Then they have to go to school, take loans, study, like a lot of work, right? Like they don't have choice but to go through that route. And most people who were, teenagers back in the 1980s, now guess what? They're in their 80s. They have no retirements. They have no, insurance. They don't have a house, right? Their children will never go to school because they live in a neighborhood where they have less fundings, right? Less jobs means less taxes. Less taxes means less education, and less education means less educated workforce, right? Like doctors and nurses and engineers, and that means infrastructure will crash and collapse. Tourism will go down. Real estate will be cheap, right? All of this can be observed in United States. So this study is actually pretty much, it makes more sense. It makes more sense that United States, even though big billionaires, they benefit from those, they benefit from selling high sophisticated products. When somebody goes to Harvard and does a degree in computer science or engineering, and they get a PhD in engineering, and they get a job at Boeing or NASA, they can generate a huge income, like live like bosses. But somebody who didn't finish high school, that person will never survive. That means they have no choice. What that means is, as these two individuals live in the same country, they are going to struggle to survive. This has been also observed in China. China, even though it started off as a manufacturing hub for unskilled labor, people also went to school. they get educated, they get smart, they innovated. Now they have more high-skilled labor, and they are having high income inequality. So these observations confirms that it is true, that when people don't upskill, people don't, move up knowledges, when a country doesn't invest in the educational workforce, is where we see income inequality. Something, by the way, the Republicans have denied many times, which I don't understand why. Something that is also making Trump wants to pass tariffs in the hope that this manufacturing will come back. All right. So Trump basically is saying, hey, we can't, if we move factories back to West Virginia, James is gonna move there. But that's not the case, because James can get a job. James is me, by the way. My name is James. James can just get a job in New York City, and he has a master's degree. He can make some high income and survive. All right. So even if you build a factory in West Virginia, James is gonna work in that factory. That factory will not hire an educated workforce. They need somebody who's educated. So what's gonna do is gonna drive out the people in West Virginia who are already poor to homelessness. We see this in California and Silicon Valley, right? So what Trump is doing is absolutely not a stupid thing. I'm not saying he's doing the bad thing, but he's doing what we call in economics irrational thinking, all right? Because you can't just say, okay, we're gonna move factories to the country without fixing the problem, without fixing the reason why they moved out in the first place. All right. So what US needs to do is teach the workforce. They need to invest in education. All right. Yes, with the people who are educated in America who don't make as much, there is income inequality among college graduates, and that has to do with the fact that the universities are not being well funded to give out a good education. You also have people taking on loans because the system, the education system is very expensive, right? So with no subsidies, no subsidized programs like vacational programs, it makes it harder for people to sort of catch up. Taxation. We need progressive taxation, and I know when I say this, it may not make sense, but many billionaires don't pay taxes, right? When you could be taxing people and use that money to, help the workforce, right? Can you imagine Facebook has an headquarters in Kenya. Facebook has headquarters in Kenya. It didn't build headquarters in Alabama. Why? It didn't build headquarters in West Virginia. Why? Because there's no workforce. Kenya has more advanced, more educated workforce than West Virginia. It's a problem that the Democrats the Republicans don't observe, right? So what they need to do is they need to tax these billionaires and then use that money to invest in the local community, in the poor areas, make them upskill, make them innovative, right? Rebuild factories. Increasing tariffs is not a competitive advantage. It's a flex that is only temporarily, but it's going to crash in a few weeks or so. All right. So this was a very interesting case study, and this came out in 2020. This is before Trump was a president for the second time, but the theory remains true. Okay. So now, could the United States punish companies from investing overseas? Another thing that I'm trying to think about right now about the United States, about Trump's idea, is that Trump, he might be increasing tariffs, and in the end, when Americans start paying more and more money on goods and products coming from China and Mexico, they are going to stop buying them. The demand is going to drop down. If the demand goes down, then these companies which they are American-owned companies, they are going to start reconsidering moving to the States. They are going to start to move to the United States. So I think this is the code that I'm broken right now. I feel like what Trump's trying to do is, disincentivize these companies from manufacturing in countries that are supplying cheap labor, and then once Americans start having less demand on these cheap goods, they are going to start pulling back. They're going to start to question, is it worth it for me to buy shoes from China for $10 or for $20 because of tariffs? No. So they're gonna come out with a new ways, and these factories that have moved to China, they will start moving back to the United States, and they will start to reconsider. They will start to think, what, we could do something else. We could move back to the country, and since these companies are already they are, even though they are based in China and Japan and Taiwan and Korea and Vietnam and Mexico, these factories might say, I just want to go back to the United States, because at the end of the day, our main goal was to save money. That's why we hired Chinese workers who are cheap. But since we cannot save money anymore, maybe it's time to move back. Maybe it's time to start to reconsider moving back to the to the country and start making everything in the country. And I think that's what Trump is trying to accomplish. Is it a good idea? Is it possible? It is possible. It is possible to lower the demand. It is possible in economics. You can lower the demand. Why don't economists talking about this? Well, they know most economists have self-interest. So do any other person. Most economists are academia driven, and they have political biases, right? And many universities in America, they tend to lean towards the Democrats, so they have democratic views and biases. All right. I don't speak on behalf of any political party, but I can tell you for a fact that this is a problem that can be fixed by no one else but the United States. And if Trump's tariffs goal is to do just that, lower the demand of Chinese and Mexican and Chinese made goods, because it's targeting China, and even imports and export goods, then that is possible, though it will take time. It will take time for factories to move, right? It took China from 1980s to 2023 for China to transition. Okay, look at this guy having a snow power thing. I mean, it's not that bad. You need a snow thing. So that's what we see. That's what we see with China and United States and Mexico trade war going on right now in the United States. All right. Can we fix this? Yes. Do we need to punish China and the rest of the world by giving them taxes, take away their jobs, and then have them become poor? Absolutely not. It's not the best way to live in this world of interconnected. Right? We can be better. Chinese manufacturing was getting better and better. There are people are moving to the income, but also China and Vietnam, they need to move on. They need to move away from export dependency and become more dependent. They need to create some kind of consumer demand in their own country. They can't just make 50,000 vehicles and expect to ship them to the United States, right? Who's gonna buy them? I mean, Americans have been buying Chinese goods for years because they have savings, they have money. Now the money is running out, right? It's neither China, neither the United States, but China has been seeking, it's been seeking an alternative consumer everywhere else. For instance, they've been, seeking consumer in Africa and Middle East and South America. So far, so good. They give out loans, which is undisclosed loans. We don't know what the deals are. It's very secret. This is a good thing. They are creating their own consumption. US, however, does not need consumption. Consumption culture here is real. It's alive. It's a freedom for everybody to consume. Right? Every American have a right to buy anything they want. Anything: cars, houses, land, as long as they can afford it. Okay? And the US still has an advantage of consumption, and that's what they are using right now to control China. Whether the US moves factories back to the United States or not, US will still be the most advanced because of thanks to its own consumption culture. Meanwhile, China, Vietnam, and Mexico, and even Canada too, and some parts of Europe, they do not have a chance of competing with the United States. Alright, so that's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the snow. It's not too high, it's very small, but if you are driving, please be careful. These guys, they are throwing some stones on the streets, on the roads, to make it so there's no slippery. If you're not driving, just stay home and be safe. Other than that, thanks for watching. Like always, please make sure that we pray for the US government so that we can see jobs, because people are suffering out there. People don't have jobs, and it's a real problem. But when you go to school and you get educated, you don't know much about what's going on in the world. Okay, and when you have too many educated people, guess what? There's no jobs for them to do. It's what we see right now. Many people with degrees because they have no other choice, and the fewer people can have a job. Fewer jobs are open for educated workforce. So we need a population that large population that don't have to be forced to go to college. We need them to go into jobs and start working. It's the reason why we see a huge unemployment rate goes up when the government starts cutting off the funding, because many people flock to the government because they think it's the safest zone to go to. All right. Again, thanks for watching. Like always, ciao ciao. You cannot see me. Let me go quickly in the light. I hope you enjoyed the discussion. Like always, thanks for watching. Ciao ciao, adios, spasiba, bye bye.